So tonight's job, I'm going to change the points which are behind this. Basically that's your ignition system for the engine. I don't know how much people know about this, but it's basically your contact points for when your cylinder's at top dead centre on the firing stroke. It will break the contact, give you a spark, and then that's what ignites the fuel air mixture that comes through your carb, causing it to bang, pushing the piston down at your exhaust. So there are your points there, behind that case, and that's your actual contact point in there. See where that breaks apart? Now the reason why I'm changing this set of points, I mean both of them don't really need changing, but I'm going to change them both as a pair. It's going to be a bit hard to show this, but it's a good spring contact. It's nice and strong. This one, it's a lot weaker. So at low RPM we're not getting that break, so in that contact in there you should be getting this. But what's happening is it's just staying away because it's not actually coming back, it's not returning fully. So it's going to cause it to misfire on that cylinder, and this is what it was doing. So hopefully a new set of points and should be good again. So obviously the points are off, the contact plate for that. And then here is the advance. So basically when the engine gets faster, these springs will come apart and it'll actually turn this in turn, which then advance your ignition up to match the RPM of the bike. If it didn't, you'd have retarded ignition, it won't be firing at the right point. So when you're ever doing points, just have this cover off, just make sure that it's all free, everything's moving as it should. It should be fine. So as this is the main contact breaker for your coil, you really want obviously this connected to this breaker spring. So this shiny metal bit is going to be the earth point for obviously the body anyway. So you really want to keep that insulated from this. As you can see, there's a bit of rubber between the two. Just remember to have that, otherwise you're literally going to short your coil straight to earth, probably blow a fuse. So it's really important you get them around the right way. Equally as well, make sure you change obviously left and right point and keep them the same. If you swap them around, your cylinder's going to fire at the wrong time. So make a note which one's which, keep that on that side. Should be. So run into a little bit of a problem because these points are obviously old and this has probably been on and off a few times. Try putting a nut rivet in there, but as you can see it catches on that, so I had to grind it down a bit. Obviously because these are only alley, the thread's not very strong on it, and because you've only got a small contact point, it's pulled out. So I have to think of another way of trying to repair this or get another one. I've had a look online, you can't seem to buy them, so it's going to be fun. Might be able to get a second hand one from somewhere. It's not the best, I just had to cut the other nut off. Just welded the bolt in. So now, obviously, be a stud. Gives us enough clearance on the back. Just give that a little brush up. Probably stronger than the original, to be honest. Get a nut for it. Job done. So got the points all back on after the little repair to the back plate. I've actually fitted a, as you can see, a nut on there, so there's a stud welded in that. So hopefully that should be strong enough now. Right, so what you want to do is get it so this gap in the points is at its widest, and then for this particular model it's 0.4 or 0.3, 0.4 mil gap. So you just got a little bit of drag on that and you just bar it around a bit. You might be able to just see that cam opening up the other one. See it there, slightly moving. So this cam is now at its highest point, pushing that on that. And that should be about 0.3, 0.4. Yep. And then just to double check. So what you want to do is come back. So you can check to make sure this contact point is going to break exactly the right time. So what you've got on here, you've got your timing mark. So you've got LF, which is for the left hand fire mark with a little black Tipp-Ex mark, and then I've got another F there for the right hand cylinder. So just turn your ignition on. Should obviously have 0 volts, and as that comes round, you want to be on the compression stroke. On that timer mark, you should have 12 volts. Off of it, I'll get it both. As it comes round, click, so you can see there that black mark is on that timer mark. Now we can double check the other cylinder, which is Y, which is on the F. Again, nothing. That F is coming around to that timing mark now. So it's a little bit advanced, I might want tweaking a little bit. But what I'll do is I'll double check all this. So when I'm running it, you basically put a timing light on your HD lead, and then get it running, and then you should be able to see it flickering on that. But I'll show you that in the next. So for anyone that's a little bit confused about that, so crankshaft where your timing mark is, cam where your pickups where your points are, which I've just been setting. Obviously left hand cylinder, right hand cylinder, right hand cylinder. At the point that points you want to be setting up, I said earlier about your compression stroke. So as you can see, this piston will be right at the top of the cylinder. Now your inlet and your exhaust valve will be closed. You've got your spark plug, you've got a coil. So when that crank comes round, obviously your cam's spinning half speed of your crank. So when that comes round, you've got top dead center, compression, breaks a point, earths the coil, sends a spark down to your spark plug, causing your power stroke to come down. If that was set 180 out on your crank, you'd basically be sparking on your exhaust stroke, which you wouldn't get any power. It would basically bang straight out exhaust. So obviously that's why you want to be 100% sure you're on your compression stroke when you're doing it. Two ways of doing it: you put your thumb over the spark plug, as you're barring it around, you'll feel the compression. Other way is you can get to your valves. Obviously when that's at top dead center, you can check them just to make sure the rockers on here are loose. I won't go into that too much, but yeah. As for the right hand cylinder, that cylinder's right at the bottom, so it's opposite to this one. So when that one comes round, so at the minute this is actually on its, like, it would have been on its intake stroke. So as it's gone down, it's taken in your fuel air mixture from your carb. It's at the bottom. When this starts to come up, that's going to close back up. This cylinder will then be round at your timing mark. It's going to break this. Same principle, goes through a coil, through your spark plug, bang, power stroke. Yeah, just a little fundamental sort of guide just to help clear a few things up. Right, so we've got the engine running now. See, there's your points. Connected the timing light onto this, which is this thing. Now what you're going to do now, you're going to see the F mark lining up with the timing mark. So I've got one for yellow, and then if you do the other side, basically get the same markings. Video is struggling to keep up. You'll see it advance round, so that F mark will go from there to there when it revs. That's the timing set. Nice and responsive now. That's your ignition timing done. And that's all the ignition timing done. As you can see there, that was the LF mark, F lining up with that mark, and then like I say, when it advances up, when you accelerate, that mark's basically going to go from there to there on the timing light. So every time it flashed is every time that spark is being ignited, and that's your setting up your points.